It was an atrocity, to say the least, what happened at Amache.
17-year-old Tristan Medina grew up right next to Amache, the site where 7,300 Japanese Americans were unjustly imprisoned during World War II.
We don't learn about it in our history classes.
He had to opt in to a specific class to learn about the suffering that happened here more than 80 years ago.
Teachers don't teach a lot about it. Students don't get a whole lot of it, especially in the state of Colorado.
So history teacher John Hopper created the class focused on Amache. Now the Dean of Students, Mr. Hopper is still teaching that class 30 years later.
I'm proud of every one of these students. I gloat over my students.
In his class, students aren't just pupils, but also preservationists.
By preserving Amache, we get to learn about the history of what happened, and by learning the history, we won't repeat these horrible things that have happened in the past.
Junior Reese Block and senior Tori Lynn Riddle
I think that everyone needs to learn about it.
Are some of the latest generation of students to volunteer and maintain the physical site of Amache while raising awareness about its history.
All of this is to make sure that their memories and what happened to them is never forgotten.
They've restored landmarks, renovated the cemetery, even established a museum. What started as a class history project interviewing Amache survivors
1, 2, 3.
turned into a National Historic Site.
The exhibits that you'll see, along the roadside, high school students wrote those. And again, I say that with great respect.
National Park Service Superintendent Eric Leonard says that kind of community-born advocacy is what makes national parks special.
They don't just happen, they take sometimes decades of work and community partnerships.
The work Mr. Hopper and his students have done over the years is being recognized by Amache survivors and their descendants.
But I wanted to thank John as the premier teacher that saw this place and said, this is a physical representation of living history and we need to use it. That's what a good teacher does.
Mr. Hopper's goal has always been to educate to prevent more tragedy.
Could a president with a stroke of a pen put some minorities into a camp again? It can't. We've got to get that changed.
And his students couldn't be more grateful
I hope to go into constitutional law.
for the impact he's had on their own futures and Amache's.
Having one survivor, one descendant come up and shake our hand is worth more than any piece of paper, any plaque, any ribbon could ever be.
With photojournalist Manny Sotelo, Courtney Yoon, 9 News.